Welcome to the income tax demo for Financial Literacy 10. We will be completing a tax return for a sample high school student that just has a couple jobs and is in high school. So once you create your Wealthsimple account using the video that we showed you before, you're going to go to Wealthsimple Tax and you will select the current year that you want to file tax for. For this demo, we'll do 2023. Now it's going to show me any other previous returns I have loaded up here. So I had another demo for another class. So we'll just go create a new return. If you hadn't done one, then you would have just shown that create a new return from the beginning. I'm going to do look at the assignment. So we're going to do a return for Catherine Casey. Catherine was born November 13th and lives at home and has 2 part-time jobs. So let's create her account. So we'll call this Catherine Casey. Sometimes I get the students to put their last name or just anything to identify it, but this is good for today. Continue. So we'll enter her first name is just from the assignment, Catherine Casey. And we would like to get support from a tax expert. No, I don't think we need support right now. We will just go along with the demo here. So we're going to use the basic tax that is no charge and select that one. And we're going to put her date of birth as stated in the case, 1999, 11/13. She lives in Saskatchewan and marital status will say single. And next. We're going to skip this step from CRA. What you should be doing once you're doing your own taxes is signing up for a MyCRA account. This will allow you to see your T4s, your returns from your employer, any deductions, any benefits you have, and all the mail that comes from Revenue Canada will go into this account. So once you're on your own, you might want to ask about setting this up and managing your own tax forms and stuff as you go along in life. It's very handy. We'll just skip the step for now. It says we'll add your tax slips. So yeah, we'll continue because I want to add in her slips that she's earned. So if you'll notice in the assignment, we've got 2 T4s. They're called T4s because this is the form that's named for any earnings for Canadians. She works for Mario's Pizzeria. You'll see I've checked off the CPP exempt box because she's not 18 and in this example. So if you're under 18, you don't pay CPP. As well, you'll notice a deduction for EI on box 18. She will pay EI. Everyone in Canada pays EI. There's no age limit on that. Sometimes you pay a little bit too much and you might get that back, but that's in case of loss of employment due to layoffs or maternity leave or anything like that. You get a little bit of insurance money back when you're not working. So that's a benefit to all Canadians and people do pay, but we'll have to see if that's enough or if she's paid too much. You'll notice up here, box 22 says income tax deducted. Now she's gotten $101 of income tax deducted from her earnings. So this is what she earned. And the employer took that off. I actually think she's going to get that back once we do our tax return. That's one of the biggest benefits of doing a tax return is employers sometimes take deductions off that you don't actually owe. In this case, she earns $2,600 from the pizzeria. And she earned $3,600 from the bookstore. Now that puts her income, total income for the year, underneath the basic income threshold, which is around $15,000 for 2024. Each year there's a basic income level that you can earn without having to pay tax on it. And given that her income is quite a bit below that, and most students are when they're part-time or in school or even in university students, you won't actually owe any tax. And you'll see that they took up $150 here too. So my first guess is that will come back to her as well as this $101 here for a refund. So we'll use these to guide our entry into the program. So we're going to select T4. That's all she's got. Doesn't have any of these other things. They just, if you had them and if you're becoming more complicated, you'd add them. But right now we only have 2 basic T4s. There's no capital gains or rental income. It's actually quite easy when you're a student. So I had a job and I was a student. Now, student in high school, we don't actually probably check this one. This would be if you were in university and had tuition. Those are tax deductions. For now, you're just, actually, we'll select it and then I'll show you what it looks like just so you're clear. She didn't have any children. If any of these applied, these are all become deductions for you. Children, a home, medical, or donations. But right now, she doesn't have any of those. And she doesn't have a tradesperson. She doesn't have any tuition. Your lower income and earned business income, none of these apply. No interest on student loans. When you do, those will become deductions for you. RSPs, and then any of these other options. So we'll skip those for now. Let's get going. So this next question here is asking you to enter her information. I'm just going to put Catherine@gmail.com because right now none of this is getting sent anywhere, so we just have to put something to continue. The social insurance number, we have an academic SIN number that's in the T4. If you'll notice right here, it shows in box 12. We can use that. So it's 100, 3 zeros, and then 009 works. Okay. Her birthday we'll enter. We'd entered that as March 13th. Preferred language we'll say is English, and she's not deceased. Net file access code is when you filed previous years. And you can just actually file online. You'll get your refund very quickly. Right now, we're going to assume it's your first time filing. If this is your high school, your own personal income tax, you'll get a notice of assessment next year, and you'll see that it tells you exactly where to find this number on your notice of assessment. But for now, we don't have that. Her mailing address, you have to put anything with a star. So we're just going to put the address that we had put on the T4, which was 123 Main Street, and then I just put city, Saskatchewan, and then SOM1MO. No phone number. Nothing here has a star. Do you have a non-Canadian yet? Nope. Were you a Canadian resident? We'll say yes. If you weren't, there's different applications. So if your residency changed, if someone had moved here, they would have to answer these questions. Right now, Saskatchewan was the main residency. She's single. She didn't get married or anything. She does not have any dependents, which are children. If you do, you have to change your answers. And are you filing tax return for the first time? Yes. First time. Yes, we are. Keep as yes. You Canadian? We'll say yes. Do you authorize them to give your information to Elections Canada? This is interesting. In Canada, you have the right to vote. We're a democratic country, so I'd hope you'd say yes here. Just identify under the Indian Act. We'll say no in this case. And property, she didn't own any property worth $100,000, didn't dispose of a principal residence or flip property. And first time home, none of these applied. Wasn't in jail either. There is currently a carbon rebate for anyone who lives outside of Regina or Saskatoon, so you can answer that based on where you live if you're filing your own tax. For this case, we'll just say yes. She lives outside of Regina or Saskatoon. There's a little bit of extra money for people who live in rural. Are you registered for CRA? We're going to say no, but you should get registered if this was your own, if this is your own self. So, and we're not signed yet. We're not going to autofill the return. We don't have anything to autofill. We've got the T4 here that is right in the assignment. So we're going to fill in just like it shows here. You see the box numbers just like it shows in Wealthsimple. So I'm just going to quickly do these. So this is Mario's Pizzeria. Box 10, if you follow along. Just keep going here. That's provincial. So we're in Saskatchewan. She's CPP exempt, which is box 28. That was checked off. Box 14 is her earnings, $2,600. Box 22 is the tax they took off, 10100. 26 had a 0, and EI employment insurance in box 18 was 4888. And that's it. There's 4 boxes filled out on my original 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to select add another T4 because she has 2 jobs. So this was the other employer, so Best Bookstore. Box 10 again is Saskatchewan. She is CPP exempt because she's under the age of 18. Box 14 if you follow along. And 22 is the income tax deducted, $150. And box 26 was a 0. And she did pay some EI over here, which was $67.68. Okay. Review and optimize. Look at that. You'll see here refund, $267. Just as I mentioned before, the tax that they took off, these 2 deductions she gets back. plus a little more. So let's review and optimize. We're going to say you can file previous tax returns. You may be eligible. Some of these things you can click and investigate. For high school students, you're probably not eligible for any of these things if you work from home, employment expenses. Okay, so go to submit. So if you see here, there's a refund. She's going to get a GST amount. She's over the age of 19, and she's going to get a carbon tax rebate. And now, as I mentioned, filing tax is part of, being a Canadian, and we pay tax to pay for the standard of living we have, and safety and health and education. But you also file tax, you can get some benefits back. If you don't file, you wouldn't get some of this money back. And so she will get that much money back for refund. She will get every 3 months GST, and she will get $225 per year currently for this refund. Now, how do you submit this assignment? If you go to submit, all we ask you to do is save a PDF of your return and save it in a file and upload that into Moodle as your assignment. And that is your demo for filing a basic tax return. As you can see, it's very easy, and they print the forms for you. You'd have to mail those PDF forms in if it was your first time filing into the tax center. Just look up the address online and see where you would mail your files in from Saskatchewan. And that's it. It's pretty basic and pretty easy. And once you do it, you just take your forms, and Well Simple makes it very simple. So if you have any further questions, please ask your teacher on how to complete the return. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.